Hey guys, welcome to Obsessive Thoughts. My name is Lena and I'm here today with Miss Alyk.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing very well. I'm so excited to be here with you.
Yes, me too. Okay. So, first of all, do you have any upcoming shows or anything coming up?
Yes, I am headlining the 561 Music Festival on May 2nd, which is super, super exciting. My first headline festival. And then on June 27th, I'm playing The Ranch, opening for Werewolves and Done For.
Where is the rant? That's in Fort.
It's in Fort Myers.
Yes. All right. So, was there a moment when music shifted from just a passion into something you felt like you had to pursue?
There was a moment, so I think for my entire life, I kind of pushed music down. It was always
Mhm.
something I did, it was always something I loved, but I always told myself for years that I was not good enough for like to make it, What even is make it? But I always told myself I was not good enough to make it, and it was not until one day in 2023 where I was sitting with my sister on the balcony smoking a joint, and I was just like, why the fuck not? And it kind of, I don't know, something clicked in my brain and everything changed. And it was not until I just made that mental decision
Right.
that it was like something I had to do and something I like needed, rather than just, a hobby, kind of talked myself out of it for a really long time. And once I started believing in myself, it felt obvious. Like, of course, this was what I was supposed to do all along.
No, absolutely. I mean, the moment I met you, I was like, this girl has the star quality. Like, this
Thank
is it.
you.
You know what I mean? So, do you think if so the stars aligned for that moment, you would say, but do you think that moment would have happened if, say, you were someplace else? Because I know your family's in New Jersey, right? And they have a totally different music culture up there. So, do you think
Yes,
that moment might have happened if you were up north?
absolutely not. So I lived in New Jersey for my entire life until I was 19,
Mhm.
when I moved down to Florida for makeup school, actually. And I graduated makeup school, went back to,
Congratulations.
oh, thank you very much. I went back, graduated college at PBA, just kind of was, again, so unsure of my life, unsure of who I was. My sister wound up following me down here, and I really found myself here, and I don't think that ever would have happened for me in New Jersey. Um, I was bullied in high school. I just never really felt 100% like myself there.
Mhm.
So kind of being able to spread my wings, like branch out from that, find who I really am without giving a fuck about what everybody thought of me, everyone back home. I kind of escaped, blocked everyone that I knew type of a thing, and it started over. And I don't think that I would ever be pursuing music had I not left New Jersey. I would have, of course, still sang and still write music, but I don't think I would be Alec at all.
Right, and like you said, the stars did align for that moment to happen. So, like, while you were kind of toying with this idea of I want to go for it, were you ever like friendly with other musicians, or how did that come about, or was this just like a pure moment where you're like, I need to do this. This is like what my soul is yearning for.
I didn't even know any other musicians really. There was only once I decided, like, okay, why the fuck not? Like, I'm just gonna do it. Like, what's the worst that could happen? Once I decided that, I like racked my brain to think, who do I know in this industry? The only person I knew that actually went to school for music, my friend Casey, shout out Casey.
Casey.
And she went to school for music, and I pretty much literally a day after I decided, I
Hmm.
was just like, let's go, like, let's start. So I sat down with her on actually this couch. This is Casey's couch.
Oh my
I
gosh.
sat with her on this couch, and I pitched my idea to her. I pitched my thoughts, my brand, my vision. She saw it right away, and she said pretty much after maybe a couple meetings, she was like, I think you need more than what I can help you with right now, but I know who can. And she brought me to Boardwalk Studios and to my now producer, Jacob Bates, who is literally the Phineas to my Billy, as I was saying to you before. And he has completely changed my life and taken every idea I have had for this and just made it come to life. So very grateful for both Casey and Jacob and the stars that have aligned to make that happen.
Yeah, well, obviously it's in your favor because you're on the up and up. And like I said, when I met you, star quality check, like your brand, everything is
Thank you.
so aligned for you to succeed, right? And
Thank
we
you.
also were chatting earlier about how there aren't really solo female musicians in the scene down here, right? So you kind of have like your own pathway to create and walk, right?
Yeah, as far as South Florida now, I didn't know anything about the scene when I started because I was not in it. I did not go to a local show. I'm not from here. I didn't know anything about the music scene down here until I kind of just forcibly inserted myself into it.
Here I am.
Here I am, and you're gonna like me. So yeah, I didn't really know anything about it, and now it is kind of weird to me that there's no solo artists. It's mostly there are female fronted bands, of course, but not a lot of female solo artists, or not a lot of solo artists in general here in Florida. We have Summer Hoop up in Tampa, who I absolutely love, but not a lot of solo artists in South Florida. So I think it makes me stand out. And also, I never really wanted to be told. Still don't want to be told, but I never
Right.
really wanted to be told. I never wanted anyone. I didn't want to share my vision. I didn't want to share my dream, and I don't have to. So yeah, I'm able to still have my boys behind me for my live shows and have my team, and it still remain a solo project where I still get full creative control. If you know me at all, you know that I am a control freak, and that is why Alyk is the way that she is.
But you're also so sweet too. Like you're
Thank
very
you.
open
When I
to
want
like
to be.
to like but you're so like in a creative space, right? Like you are so open-minded. Like even just our conversations with like where you want to go and what you want to do. You are very like the control freak aspect, I feel like will work in your favor as far as where you want to go, what you want to do, what you want to try
Yeah.
and like bring to the table and also having that open-mindedness with other people's opinion. I feel like you have that good balance of too.
Yeah, I think you have to because I would not be here if not for releasing control to the
Mhm.
universe and just allowing my journey to unfold the way it wants to, the way it has. So I think that has shown me to just trust and
Right.
everything kind of comes together the way it's supposed to.
Right, like, you're gonna not be in the results business as much as possible, like, you're not in charge of how it's taken, received, what
That's
people
not my
say.
business. That's not my
Right,
business. My business is to make my art and release it to the world. And it is truly not my problem if they like it or not. It is not my business if however they feel about it, that's up to them. But yeah, you just kind of have to decide what is your job and what is not. And it's not my job to know what the final result is going to be. It's just my job to put in the work to get there.
right, and if you don't like Alec, respectfully, you're wrong. Like, that it is just what it is,
And
because
there are plenty of
like,
people who don't.
I'm
Art
the
is subjective, and
look
that's totally okay.
and that's what's cool about music, right? Because like me, I would like to think that with how much love and passion and like roots I have in the music by association, right? Because I don't play instruments, I'm not a musician, whatever, but like I'm such a fan of it. So like I will never say an artist is bad just because I don't like them. Like you need to give your flowers where they're due. Like
Art
people
is
don't
subjective in
exactly.
every way, and I could listen to a band and think, "This is the greatest song I've ever heard. This is the greatest band I've ever experienced," and you can be like, "I do not get it. I do not get their vision. I do not resonate with it." And that's what's cool about art, that's what's cool about
Exactly.
music. If we were How boring would we be if like we were all for everybody? And
Absolutely.
that's why fan bases are so important because
Mhm.
this fan base that likes this artist sees their vision, resonates with that music, and not everyone does, and that's a good thing. That's why there's diversity.
So, do you think, from an artist perspective, I've never been able to ask this, but I'll ask it now. So, when an artist makes art in any sort of medium, they're doing it for themselves, right? They don't do it for how it's perceived or their audience, right? Like, and I feel like you have to keep that mentality whenever you go forward, growing in any direction or trying new things. Would you say that's accurate?
Yes, but It
Or are you
is
like, give the people what they want? Because that's,
I'm never like give the people what they want, but sometimes I like 90 I would say 90% of the time like I am writing for me, I'm writing to heal a part of me, I'm writing to express my emotions, and sometimes I'm writing for my friend who's going through a really hard time that I could not understand because I'm
Mhm.
not going through that, but I know that she is and I know that other people need that. So even though I myself did not go through that situation, I know people need to heal. I know people need to feel that. So even though it's not for me necessarily, a situation like that, it is for you. It is for the listener, and I do hope that they take what they need from it. And even if it's not necessarily, it's still for me, of course. All
Right.
my songs are my babies, but sometimes it is for them and that's okay. And a lot of times it is for me. And I think a balance is really cool.
And that's what, like you were saying, a fan base is they connect with an artist. And I feel like that is why musicians, like, there is so much love, because like with my favorite bands, I've never met them, but I feel like they know me, right? Like I feel like they opened my diary, went inside my brain, and wrote directly something related to me.
And
Like
that's
that's so
what's
personal.
so cool because you might listen to that song, right? This hypothetical song and think, oh my gosh, like I went through this specific situation, this specific breakup, and that's clearly what this is written about. And they really wrote it about like the cat that they saw out their window and they felt lonely when so it's so cool that like people can take what they need from a song, take what resonates for them. There was like this Billie Eilish song one time that I was just obsessed with. I thought I knew exactly what it was about. It related to my life perfectly. I was like, wow, we have been through the same
We're the
thing.
same.
And then she like came out with what the reason was behind it, what the story was behind it, and it was so far from what I thought it was about. And that's cool, like art is up to, the listener, up to the perception, and that's beautiful.
That's why I love art. Like in any sort of way, anyone that is expressing something, whether it's releasing or they're called to do it, like, so much respect. And like I said, if it's not for me, it's not for me. I will never talk down. I mean, because there are like mainstream bands that like people would kind of clock I would be into just on appearance and aesthetic
Mm-hmm.
and whatever. And I'm like, they're not really for me. But I will never be like they're trash, because I'm like, obviously they're doing well and successful.
100%. And I don't need to understand. You weren't meant to. That song wasn't for you. It
Mhm.
clearly wasn't for you. You don't understand the vision. And that's okay. And you know
That's
what?
okay.
I made a silly little reel about that song. Rest in peace, my granny. She got hit by a bazooka. Okay. And
Yeah.
there's so many people in the comments like, you don't get it. You don't get what he's trying to do. And that's okay. I clearly don't.
I know exactly what she's talking about, but let them have
To each their own.
their moment
Live
is,
and let live. I have it tattooed on me. Live and let live. Just
exactly.
whatever makes you happy.
So this question popped in my head and I have to ask. So as far as having your artist integrity goes, would you ever, between you and me, would you ever perhaps, like, say you're with a label and they're like, we really want you to do this song. Say it's like poppy, there's no like substance to it. It's
Just
very
like something that's not aligned, you mean?
right, but very much like good for the label, good for you, good for media, good for mainstream radio.
Fuck no. Absolutely not. That's why I'm not with a label right now. And when the
Mhm.
case, may be that I ever do partner with a label, it will have to be very clear that I am not like I don't want to be told. I don't want to be told. I don't want a song shoved in front of my face and told that I
Mhm.
have to do it. I will never release anything that feels out of alignment with me. I will never release anything that does not feel authentic to Alyk. I don't care how good it's going to be for the brand. I don't care how many millions of dollars you're going to put into the marketing of it. If it doesn't feel like me, I'm not doing it because that's going to be out there forever. Um, and I'd rather have no listeners than have a bunch of listeners on a song that makes me feel like a fraud.
And that is artist integrity right there. Alec is not a sellout. And I just wanted to ask that because, like I said, I had a feeling that you would say no, but like you never know. What if
And
money's tight one day
that's
or like
not to say
whatever?
that I'm not open to suggestions, that I'm not open to changing things up, absolutely. But if something is purely out of alignment, like this is a no, I'm never just going to do it for the paycheck. I also don't ever want to rely on music for money, because then it becomes a job and becomes something I need to pay my rent. I never want to need music. I always want to do it because I want to, and I never want to just again sell out on a crap song because they want me to and just to put money in my pocket. I'm never going to do that.
I admire that so much about you. Like, not only are you just like a cool chick, but so much integrity. You know, people will sell their soul for any amount of money. And that, I mean, my soul's not for sale. Money's never been something I've been driven towards. So to know that there's another artist or like musician, female out there that's not willing to put anything on the line for an amount of money or fame, the glory,
If we were in
whatever.
this for the money, we would be in a very different line of work. Like if I was looking for
Exactly.
money, I would not be a musician right now.
Yeah, no, exactly, exactly. Okay, so you explained this a little bit to me about, so Alec is like your alternate persona. How did that name come about? How did that story come about? Tell us.
So I kept my first name Kayla Ann, and my parents' names are Joan and Joe. So
Too
I
cute. Her parents are darling, by the
they
way.
are.
I love them so much. They're your
Shout out
biggest
my
fans.
parents. Shout out to my parents. But I kind of wanted to pay tribute to my parents by
Mhm.
making my name at the time Kayla Ann Joe. Made my first rock song, which was Deny Deny. And it started feeling to my team like, and to me, I just kind of didn't realize it, that Kayla Ann Joe kind of came off as like country singer songwriter indie type of vibe, and it didn't necessarily match the brand that I was going about. So it didn't necessarily feel authentic anymore. And I wrote my name, Kayla, on a sticky note, and I was staring at it for like probably at least half the plane ride, probably at least an hour and a half or 2 hours, and just kind of flipped it, put it backwards. It was Alyk. And I was like, that does not sound right. And I just kind of struck an A, and I was like, oh,
That sounds like a
Alyk.
folk singer, right? You know,
Yeah, it just
you know
didn't
what
make
I
it just didn't make sense. But like strike the A, Alyk, it's just kind of Kayla backwards, and I was like, I don't know anyone named Alyk. That sounds cool. It sounds edgy. It just made sense. It just made sense. Felt right. And from also my dad kind of thought right when I came out with Alyk that it also could stand for act like you know. So as far as Alyk has become my Hannah Montana, because Lady Gaga and Stephanie, like the separation is so important, and not something that I was intending on doing, just something that kind of happened, and thank God, because Kayla is so very different than Alyk, um in a lot of ways, and in a lot of ways they're the same, but being able to have my two separate lives, being able to have my relationships, my friendships,
So
my
important.
family, everything as Kayla, and kind of get up there and not give a fuck as Alyk. Um, Having that duality is really important for me. And I think having Alyk and birthing Alyk released a part of me that's always been inside, that
Mhm.
I could never express as Kayla.
Right. I love that you're able to protect that part of yourself a little bit better, you know what I mean? And I feel like that's the way to go.
Yeah, it helps with a lot of things. It helps with family relationships, romantic relationships, jobs, like stuff like that, where not everyone wants to be involved with a rock star. Not everybody wants to be involved with somebody wearing all these crazy things and acting all these crazy ways, and whatever the case.
Thank God for all these like little moments of like, here we go. This is what I meant to do. You know, like you talked about that moment on the balcony. You talked about this, organic creation of this dual persona that you have. Like you were saying, you're Hannah Montana. Like, I feel like, girl, you are meant for great things, meant to do this. This is your
Thank
track.
you.
You know what I
Thank you so
mean?
much.
What is your take on being vulnerable publicly? Like performing songs that are so emotionally charged. Do you feel empowered or exposed?
Both.
Okay.
Certainly both. I do. I think writing about it feels empowering, and then releasing it feels exposing, if that makes sense. Like
Right.
writing it, creating it, getting it like together feels like I'm taking this back, I'm taking the situation into my hands, and I'm turning a bad situation into art. and then it does feel empowering. And then once you kind of release it into the world and it's up to everyone's interpretation, it's up to everyone's own perception of it and performing it, that is where it kind of feels exposing. Once you start getting the questions, once you start getting the, so who's this
Who's this
about?
about? What
What
inspired
happened?
this?
Like,
Yeah.
mom. No, I'm just kidding. Um, but yeah, I think that's where it starts getting a little exposing. And I think I had to become okay with saying it's none of your business.
That's
My
it.
songs are like my journal, and it's almost like a code language because you don't have to know who it's about. You don't have to know what situation led me to this. More recently in my music, like The Other Side and The Fall, is when things started getting really personal.
Mhm.
And it became harder to separate and harder to like, it feels real, even though they don't know the difference between what was real, what wasn't. Again, like they could think it's about my left shoe, it
Right.
doesn't up to their perception.
If you know, you know.
Yeah, as a writer, not just as an artist, but like I think writers of all kinds, whether music or novels or like any sort of, poetry, any sort of writer, like you can take inspiration from yourself, you can take inspiration from your neighbor, you can take inspiration from, anything, and that's really cool.
So, question really quick. Speaking of being an artist, did you kind of clock that you were a writer first before a singer? You know what I mean? Like, which one came first as far as
That's a really
knowing,
good
you
question. I
know,
think I was a writer first, honestly. I was writing since I was so young.
like poems, journal entries? Like,
Songs,
really? So, you
yeah.
were right away just like putting them
Yeah.
in sort of like
When I
the,
was 5, my house burned down, and I was the only family member that was in the house. I had a
oh my
very different
gosh.
experience than the rest of my family did, and I think the first song I ever wrote was about that. For me, I
Yes.
find myself more I'm like a performer first. Well, I'm like a writer, a performer, a singer, a dancer. Like it kind of there's a hierarchy.
All right. So you have been building a strong connection with your audience, both online and on stage, especially with experiences like Warped Tour. Congratulations on that. That is such
Thank
like
you
a
so much.
dream come true type of situation. You know what I
It
mean?
was it was absolutely a dream come true. I still at times forget that it happened.
Another moment that changed everything where you're like,
Changed
I'm going to do
everything.
it, you know?
Truly changed everything. And I think we spent the entire year focused on prepping for it, and then it happened, and it just like that, 25-minute set, just like that, and then it's over, and then the next day we all go back to work, and
Right.
real life resumes. So I think it came and went so quickly that like sometimes I forget. Did we do that?
Right,
Like
right. Like
did
it really does go so fast.
Yeah, and it was just so unreal that it just felt like a video game is honestly the only way I can describe it. Like it was so I hate to put it on a pedestal and say it felt unreal because that's bad manifesting and it's, saying that it's not what I'm supposed to do,
Mhm.
but at the same time it also felt so right to be there as an artist, to be there, in the artist lounge with MGK and Demi Lovato. Yeah, MGK was so nice to my whole band and like everyone that we met was so sweet and so kind. It just felt like normal for them to be
Like you
there.
belonged there.
Yeah, for them to be and they treated us like that. They didn't treat us like kids, like fans, because we are part of the artists,
Your talent
like
that's there, part of
I
the.
think one of the moments that happened that changed things for me. Are you familiar with Slaughter to Prevail?
Yes. Yes, I am.
So Slaughter to Prevail, obviously, they're huge things. Like they have the masks and like the blood splatter guitars and like
Mhm,
the
mhm.
bear and like all this crazy energy. And we're standing backstage on one of the main stages that we performed on actually, and we're like, oh, I wonder who's up next on this stage, and we're just kind of standing. It's like me, my bass player. There's a guy next to us, and he's just kind of vibing with us, just like a regular Joe schmo, Like I don't know, I didn't know who this guy was. I just figured he was, I don't know, anybody.
Yeah, right?
And we're just vibing. He's kind of doing a little like almost like he's prepping, and I'm like, oh, I wonder what's going on. And then he kind of like puts his head down, flips it back up, puts his mask on, grabs his blood splatter guitar, and
Oh.
like walks out there. And I'm like, oh my
So
god!
you're
I'm
about
like,
to do
you know,
you're doing this.
this is Slaughter to Prevail. Like it was great. And then we watched them absolutely wreck it, like in front of thousands and thousands and thousands of fucking people, and just destroy it. But for some reason, the realization that like here we are, side by side, shoulder to shoulder,
Yeah.
and like we're just two people with the same dream. All these people, Tom from the Plain White Tees helped me carry up
Oh,
my
they were
case.
there too.
Yeah, kind of helped me
Yes.
carry up my case from the stairs, and like was so nice. Everyone was just like, it's just like we're all just kids with the same dream.
Right.
That's it. Like we're all kids who love music. We're all kids who are trying to do the same thing. It's not I'm down here and you're up here.
Right.
It's we're all just here doing this together. And I think that leveling of like, standing shoulder to shoulder with someone that I didn't even know that we idolize, as a
Mhm.
band, was so incredible to see. Like we do belong here, and I'm like, we are all like, there's not really, once you start taking away the pedestal and realizing it's not like I'm here and you're there, that's when it starts to normalize. And I think that's when it started to normalize for us, that like this isn't too far away. Like we're right there.
Exactly. And like you believed you belong there, and I'm sure that was received. Because like I said, it all starts with you, how you see yourself, what you believe in, other people will too.
Travis Mills from Girlfriends, he's in the back of some of my photos right before set, and he's kind of going
That is so funny.
like, he's like, and he's talking, and he's like, who is this? He kind of comes up to me after, and almost that energy of like, I don't know you, but I feel like I should. My drummer and boyfriend Red, he got to meet like his drumming idol from August Burns
That's
Red, and
so
like
fun.
literally just like made him so happy. And there was nobody there that I necessarily was like,
Mhm.
oh my god, I have to meet this person. And we're walking, and my sister grabs my arm, and she's like, do not panic.
Don't panic.
Demi Lovato is sitting right there. Do not
Did you
panic.
do like a like
No,
are you
no,
the friend that's like a quick or like
I
a
was like,
okay. So that's the
I was
move.
like, okay,
Okay.
everything's cool. Everything's cool.
Everybody
Let's be
calm down.
chill. Let's be chill.
Mhm.
We're all just people. She's just a
Mhm.
girl. But yeah, no, everyone was so great.
She was there. I know her husband Jutes.
Yes, we love Juice.
We loved you. Oh, question. Do you want to go see him with me?
Yes, I
Okay.
want to go see him with you in September.
We'll get the tickets after
Yes, ma'am.
this.
Yeah.
Yes.
My drummer and my band met Jutes, and he was awesome. I wish his wife was awesome to me, but
You
that's
know,
okay. She doesn't owe me anything.
maybe having a bad day. She wasn't working that
Listen,
day,
this woman who I adore has been famous since she was 5 years old on Barney.
Couldn't be me.
Okay?
That's
She
crazy.
has probably had people come up to her and try to talk to her for her whole life. She does not owe me a thing. She was not rude by any means. She just like wouldn't even stop walking and was just like, "Hi, thank you." It's
Right.
like, "Okay."
You know,
When it sucked because everybody else that like, one of my other musicians would come up and just be like, hey man, like I just want to tell you, like, your music has impacted me so much. Like I
right.
appreciate you. Like it's so nice to meet you. Kind of introduce themselves. None of us are approaching any of these guys like, oh my god, can I have a picture?
Right.
Never. Like
Can't do that.
never anything like that.
No.
So I was kind of expecting that same level of
Right.
camaraderie, and
Exactly.
like Miss Girl could not even stop walking. She was just like, thanks. I was like,
I
"Ugh, love
no,
you.
I
It's all
get
good."
that because I had
You
a
know what? One day she's
famous
gonna want to be my friend.
she will be,
One day
and
she will want
she'll
to be my
you know
friend.
what? We'll have a second try at it,
Yes.
because I had the same
We'll have her on
interaction.
the podcast.
We will, Demi. We'd love to
Manifesting.
have you.
Demi, we love you. I forgive you for not wanting to talk to me.
I feel like that might be we were talking about LA earlier. That might be like an LA thing because you know who I had a brief encounter with? Paris Jackson. Michael Jackson's
Yeah.
daughter. She was staying at a hotel and she wasn't rude, but she had that same like when you explained that, that's exactly how it was. It was
You're like,
very much hi,
thanks.
thank you, like
Mhm.
very
Like you didn't even hear what I said. You just
exactly,
said
just
hi,
very
thanks. Yeah.
in your own lane. I didn't take it personal. We can't take it
Of
personal.
course.
And I wanted to ask, as a professional to another professional, if you are, because you're always taught to network, right? Like I put myself out there, you got to introduce yourself. So, how would you approach meeting somebody that you maybe idolize? Like, would you just be like, "Hi, I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Alyk," or you know what? Like, how would you? Because you don't want to fan out. That's
No,
crazy.
yeah, and again, it's about leveling, like, you have to approach them as an artist, not as a fan or
As
like a
an
professional,
equal.
as an equal, exactly, not like a, "Oh my god, you're everything to me," you know? So, the
Hmm.
same way that we approached everyone at Warped Tour, the same way I approached Demi, and it was just like, "I don't wanna bother you, like, I just wanna let you know that, like, your art has impacted my art, and, like, I really appreciate you, and, like,
Okay,
I just wanna introduce myself and tell you that you're fucking awesome." Yeah,
and that's
that's
all it
really it. I'm
is.
not asking for anything from you, I just wanna tell you that the art that you put out has helped me in my life,
Right.
and artists deserve to be told that, because every time somebody approaches me and says, "Hey, the art that you put out has helped me in some way," of course I want to hear that. And when I am as big as Demi Lovato, I will not turn down a young artist who approaches
Exactly.
me, and I will give them the time of day.
Is there a moment that has stayed with you from Warp Tour, and how has that shaped the way you connect with your fans now?
There are so many moments that changed so much for me from Warped Tour. I think it's really cool that I got to perform at Warped Tour without anyone knowing me. Like normally, like, you go, these bands on the lineup, and nobody knew me. So I kind of absorbed the crowd from Magnolia Park, because Magnolia Park, I went on at 11:25. Magnolia Park was going on at 12 on the stage right next to me, right? There's right and left foot at Warped Tour.
Okay.
So everybody's flooding the gates to wait. Obviously, they want to get a spot at the main stage. So they're
Mhm.
all coming to the main stage. They don't even know that I'm about to play on it.
Right.
They're just waiting for the people who are after me.
Mhm.
So I absorbed all their audience, the audience next to me who was waiting for that stage, which was Magnolia Park's audience. Thank you, Magnolia Park. Um, and afterward, I go to my merch booth, and there's like a line
At your merch booth?
at my merch booth. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And I'm like walking past the line, and I'm kind of like walking to my merch booth, and I'm like, who are these people
Yeah,
waiting
where
for?
what's
I'm like,
going on here?
yeah, like who are we waiting
What
for?
are we in
And
line
I think I
for?
said to someone, I didn't realize that they were at line at my merch booth, and I was like, who are you guys waiting for? And they were like, oh, like we'd love to meet you if you have a second. I was like, you guys are here to meet me? Like, you
Me?
want to meet? Yeah, like, oh my God. And it was so awesome. And people left Magnolia Park set. People left, like, they came for Magnolia Park, saw me right before them, and then actually left and didn't even see the whole set to come, like, catch me at the merch booth and, like, meet me. And there were so many stories. Like everybody just came with a story, and that was so crazy to me because none of these people knew me. Everyone that walked up to my merch booth was like, "I've never heard of you before, but like you were my favorite artist of Warped Tour," and like just incredible, like just different stories. Everyone had a different story. Everyone had a different like sentimental moment. Or the Saturday. So I was very lucky to play on the Sunday, because the Saturday my family, mom, dad, huge shout out, mom, dad, Aunt Serena, Uncle Michael, my cousin Emily, my cousin Anna, my Uncle Paul, my
They all
sister.
came?
Not only did they all come, Chris, not only did they all come, but they all came. They handed out stickers, bracelets, the whole Saturday. And they
Yep.
said, hey, my daughter's playing on the main stage tomorrow at 11:20. Like, please come, and giving them little pamphlets and stuff. So much of my fan interaction that came to meet me were like, your mom told me about your set, and I was so
Yes.
excited, and you were
That would
amazing. Like,
lock me in. I'd be like, "Oh, your
exactly.
daughter's here? Where?
It's like
Let
that
me go," you
personal
know?
interaction that was so freaking cool. And yeah, everyone just had such a sweet story. And now I just performed for the first time again in Orlando. That was my first Orlando performance since Warped Tour.
Mhm.
And so many people from Warped Tour came. And they were like, I had no idea who you were, but I saw you at Warped Tour, and I just knew I needed to see you again. I'm like,
You're
this is what Warped Tour is about.
I was just about to say,
It's so cool.
your whole experience with Warped Tour is the authentic, original, OG Warped Tour
It
experience.
is. It really
Discovering
is.
your favorite artist
Underground
on
bands.
accident, right? Because like, did you ever go to Warped Tour in the early
I
days?
didn't, and that's what was so cool, that like my first Warp Tour was one that I got to play. But Red went every year with his sister, and he
Right.
looked up on that stage and he said, one day I'm gonna be up there. So like to be able to give that to him, and obviously he's my partner as well, like was so fucking special, dude.
Like you had the authentic like experience of it all, like hanging at your merch booth, talking to people, promoting yourself,
Meeting new fans, yeah.
exactly, and making that connection because as a fan, from a fan's perspective, you remember that interaction with the artist, somebody you admire. They might not, you know what I mean? Like
I
Demi
do.
probably doesn't
I
remember that,
remember
but
it.
you remember
I
that, you
do,
know?
yeah, and everyone who came to my previous show at Orlando just last weekend, they were like, "You might not remember me, but, like, you signed my shoe." I'm like, "No, I remember you, dude, like, thank you so
Yes.
much for being here."
Having like people and artists that are connected to their
It
fans,
stays with you.
it really
It stays with you,
does.
it's so special to me.
And like I said, you might not remember, but they do.
Yeah.
Before we go any deeper into this conversation, I want to pause for something that feels very aligned with what the show is about. Alyk is headlining this year's 561 Music Festival. That matters not just as a milestone, but as a reflection of what happens when someone stays committed to their identity and sound.
Mm.
So, this festival started in 2021 as an extension of the 561 Music Podcast. Did you know that? Have
I
you ever heard
did,
of it? You
yes.
already knew that?
Yes, yes, I was on the podcast, actually, I was on the 561 podcast.
But it's grown from a few hundred people at Matthew's Brewery in Lake Worth into something that now brings together more than 5,000 people. Didn't know that, at the Meyer Amphitheater on the waterfront. This year, it expands even further. 3 stages. You're on the main stage.
Yes, ma'am.
30 bands. That's crazy. Artists across genres, all sharing space and showing what the South Florida scene really is. There's art, vendors, food, and community. It is completely free.
No
No
excuse,
excuse.
motherfuckers, no excuse.
You better be there.
Bring your kids.
Bring yourself.
I'll bleep out the one curse in my set if you bring your children, I swear.
Right? It's a family affair. Right, right. So it's open to everyone, which makes it even more powerful. So if you are listening and you connect with what we talk about here, come out, be there, and experience it in person. You can find everything at 561musicfestival.com, and I will link it in the show notes.
Yes, ma'am.
And Alyk, I want to continue with this. So you win the
Can I
Ernie.
say one more thing about the 561?
Go for it.
So I play at 9:30 on the main stage, but a dear friend band of mine, yep, there's a flyer, is opening at 12 o'clock. So there is going to be fantastic music from the very first band to the very last. So please be there. I'm so honored to be headlining a festival like this, just because this is obviously a local festival. I'm not even from here. So the fact that out of 30 bands, they see me as their headliner
Right,
is
right. What
so
an honor.
it really is such an honor.
Mhm.
And a lot of people have been downplaying it, like, oh, it's just a local festival, it's nothing crazy. But my first festival, I opened the very first band ever, and now my second festival, I'm closing, so it feels amazing, and I'm so honored to be there, and I promise you I will be performing my ass off.
Okay.
Like Harvey
Like
is
Harvey, they're right there.
Can't wait.
All right. So you win the Ernie Ball Battle of the Bands. You step onto the main stage at Warped Tour, and now you are headlining at the 561 Music Festival. So when you sit with that, who do you feel like you're becoming as an artist now? Boom.
A force. A force to be reckoned with. Honestly,
Yeah.
it feels right. Like, I just think that everything has come together the exact way that it is supposed to. From my very first show, which was only 2 years ago, the fact that we played Warped Tour only a year and a half after playing our first show ever is so crazy to me. And then just every progression just really feels like falling deeper into who Alyk is as an artist,
Right.
what our community is, what our community stands for. So yeah, I mean, I think I gain a little bit more confidence each time. I think I feel a little bit more like Alyk each time. I
Mm-hmm.
think I find a little bit more of who she is and what we're doing here each time. And my whole goal right now in my growth stage is putting myself in front of the world and just being a force to be reckoned with, putting myself out and being undeniable to the industry. You're gonna see me whether you like it or not. So
Period.
that's
So
it.
would you say that you're solidifying your brand like with each of these experiences, like with a loving audience, like friendly, like we're inclusive here,
Of
everybody, this is for
course.
everybody?
Absolutely. This is for everyone. Yeah, I do. I think
Mhm.
my brand is ever changing, ever evolving. It's not one.
Okay.
If you scroll back and look at the photos from my very first show, from my very first release, to now, you can actually scroll my Instagram page and see the evolution. And I think with every show, with every performance, with every song dropped, I do find more and more about Alyk, and I do feel more and more secure in my brand and just being okay with the fact that it's going to change.
Exactly. We need to all remember that an artist, they don't just like wake up and they're like famous and a name. Like
Right.
there is that
And you're
journey,
never
that
just
growth.
one thing, right? Like Justin Bieber started with his Osiris purple sneakers, the high tops, and like
Yeah,
the
we all
flat, was
remember.
that what they were called? And like the flat brimmed
Oh
snapbacks,
yeah.
and like, like we evolve so much. Lady Gaga with her meat dresses, and like we evolve so much
Mhm.
as artists, and that's what's so freaking cool about this. I know one day someone's gonna be like, I remember when you used to have purple in your hair and you released I Can Fix Him. And like, I don't even remember what I was like then.
Right. You're
I
like,
don't remember what
"Oh,
life was like when I wasn't wearing these pink eyes. I don't remember
yeah."
what life was like when I wasn't Alec. I don't even remember Kayla Anjo. So it's cool to have fans along for the evolution of an artist and, seeing every stage of it. And there's also going to be a very small percentage of people that were around for that. I just did
Exactly.
an acoustic set, and it was like, okay, like one day those 50 people or whatever, it's just going to be that small group of people who are going to be able
They're
to
gonna
say
remember,
I
I'm
saw an
telling you.
acoustic set, cuz I never
Yes.
do acoustic sets, but like that's something special that like I can share with a small group of people that one day is going to be so freaking cool.
And like you said, they're gonna be with you throughout the journey and support you. And I
I
love
hope
that.
so.
And I know you have seen the video of Halsey in the mall singing.
Malsey.
And I
I'm
was gonna
sure
say,
there's going to be so many cringy, funny videos that come out of me one day. I'm scared for it, but everything takes us to where we are now. So
honestly, you gotta laugh at
you
yourself.
gotta.
You gotta not take yourself
Everyone
too
else is gonna
seriously.
laugh at you. You might as well laugh
Be
with
in
them.
on the joke,
Yes,
right?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Thick skin girls.
Yes,
So we could take anything.
ma'am.
I also want to touch on your newest single, The Fall. Has a very haunting core. So, what were you releasing when you wrote it? And do you feel like that version of you is still present now?
Um, this song was hard for me to write. I think I was releasing the part of me that held on to this situation for so long, and I felt like the situation changed who I was, and I
Hmm.
think I kind of realized in writing this that that would only be true if I let it.
Yes.
This situation will only stay with me for the rest of my life, and I'll only carry this forever if I choose to.
Hmm.
And I can write about it, express it, release it. I did not get closure in the situation that this song is about, so this song was my closure. It's also hard to write about past heartbreak when you're in a happy relationship.
Right. Like it's
Um,
not present with you. That's why I was
yeah, no,
asking, like, is that version of you,
but
do
I
you
think
still
it
carry
it
it?
needed to be dug up and released in order to close it, you know? So no, I don't think that that version of me is still with me. Um, yeah, I think she was deep, deep, deep down in there, but
Hmm.
writing that song, releasing that song, and being able to just move forward definitely, release that version of me, and I'm able to move forward bigger and better.
So you don't feel like that will one day be in the vault? Like, do you feel like the fall would be like in the vault one day where you're like, it doesn't feel right to play anymore. It's not with the vibe, or do you feel like it'll always be a part of your musical?
Listen, that song is so hard to sing. That song is so hard to
Okay,
sing.
okay,
So I think if I ever don't play it, it's going to be for sake of saving my voice and not
right.
for. I think it's cool to play songs that, like, I don't hold any emotional connection to the songs that I've written. Now, once I release them into the world, it's like, great. It's off my mind, it's off my chest, everything's good.
Hmm.
I can play it as many times as I need to
That's
and
so
not,
healthy.
I think it will only come back to me one day when I'm standing in an arena and there is thousands of people screaming it back to me. which is when I think at that moment I will re-feel.
That moment's gonna happen, so I hope you're, like,
I
preparing
believe
for it,
it.
because it's I mean, you played that song for the first time live
You saw it.
in West Palm. Yes, yes,
Yes,
at the Banyan.
she
I knew
actually
it.
saw the debut of that song, yeah.
Kicked ass. It was
Thank you.
incredible. So that was your first time presenting it. How'd that go?
Was so scared to
Didn't
perform
show at all.
that
True
one live.
professional.
It's my hardest song to sing in my set list, and I really enjoy performing, not just standing at a mic stand and singing. So
Mhm.
obviously when you're in the studio, you're just standing at the mic singing, so it's a lot easier to sing rather than being live on stage, running around, losing your breath. I'm also asthmatic, so I was really scared, but it honestly went way better than I thought it did.
That song live, like, I understand some songs aren't meant or crafted to be played live, right? So
Absolutely.
is that kinda what you mean, where, like, it's difficult to sing or
I
it's
think
not?
eventually this song is going to be adjusted
Okay.
in our live set. Like it's going to be one of those where we do something really special for it. We do something really different. We adjust it, we tweak it. We do half the song acoustic. We come in crazy. I don't know. I think eventually um touring wise, I think we're always going to play it, but I think it will be adjusted to create a different experience than just what you hear on the record. I think some songs are meant to be played exactly as they are on the record, and some of them are meant to be a different experience. And I do think that that's one of those songs that calls for a different experience than what you hear in your car.
Because it's a hit. We may have to, like, figure it
Circle
out. We're
back.
gonna have to, like, really have a
Circle back.
team
Yes.
meeting on that. You and your team have discuss that,
You're
because,
like, I'm going to
like,
be there,
I
but
will be
yes.
there. I'll be suggesting the tweaks,
Yes.
because I it sounded incredible
Thank
live, for the
you.
record. It really,
Thank
really
you so
did.
much.
All right. So, a couple more questions before we go and eat. What do you want people to feel when they hear your music or leave one of your shows?
Seen, you know, I just want
Mhm.
people to feel understood.
So is your music for the misfits, or like the people who
100%.
feel
The people who have
different,
been told
unique?
that they're too much, people who have been told to quiet down, people who have been told that they're overwhelming or like, and this is about channeling that energy into art, you know? So I definitely think it is for the people who just never felt like they fit in into one crowd or the other.
Right.
I was too lame for the popular crowd and too cool for the loser crowd. I never really fit into anything. I was always just kind of
So you
on my
create
own, really.
yeah, you created a space
Yeah.
for those to feel seen that never really had a clique or a
Yeah, it's for
home, or
like the
like,
lone wolves, like everyone who's always felt like they needed to just be on their own because they were always misunderstood. Now let's take all of those lone wolves and kind of create a pack.
so, all right. What is your go-to hype song? I want to know what 10 out of 10 song gets you going, whether it's in the
Mm,
car, if you need to get pumped up,
mm.
what is it?
Gosh, I have so many. Okay, this is like such a random pick.
Do
It
it.
is Bad Girlfriend by Theory of a Dead Man.
Okay. I
I
totally
It's the
see
dad
that.
rock
I
lover
get
in
it.
me. It's like that song is so sassy whether they want to admit it or not. That song is so sassy. It's bad bitch energy.
I love it.
Even though they are like middle-aged men singing that, it is such bad bitch energy in that song and it
Girl,
riles me
yes.
up. It riles me up.
I love that. I wouldn't have expected that.
My song, my own song,
That
self-plug.
song is definitely a
Make a
hype
scene is a
song.
hype song for me, you know, when I need to remember who the fuck I am.
Definitely, definitely. And what is your pre-show ritual?
Pre-show ritual. I have a couple of things, but the most important part of my pre-show ritual is my dad will always stand side stage like this and wait for his pre-show kiss right before I get on stage. That's the most important part.
Are they going to be here at the 561 Music Festival?
My mama will be here, my aunt Serena will be here, and my dad says he's not coming, but he always says that.
Oh,
And he
dad,
always
such a
winds up
jokester.
appearing out of thin air. Like, I'm sure that he will be there. But if not, he literally comes to every other show. My parents stop their lives to make it. They both work in Manhattan, full time jobs, like working their ass off to give us everything that we've ever had. So If they can't, he is here in spirit, and he will get a virtual kiss on the cheek before my
Mom will
set.
definitely have
Mom will
him on
stand in.
camera, something's gonna
Yes, mom will
happen.
stand in.
Okay, well, we cannot wait to see you May 2nd
Thank you so much.
at
May 2nd at the
the
Meyer Amphitheater
Meyer Amphitheater.
in
What
West Palm
time?
Beach.
What time does it start?
It
Gates
starts,
open,
I
whatever.
believe, 11. First band is at 12, and I go on at 9:30.
Headlining, closing the show down,
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
All right, well, we will see you guys there.
Thank you so much for
Of
having me.
course. See you guys next time on Obsessive Thoughts.